quote, just wishing a plan doesn't make it real. But isn't that exactly what you do when you wish for a solution? 60% of the West Bank annexed by Israel in violation of international law. That's wishing a plan that will never happen. The Palestinians will never agree to that. They haven't agreed to occupation all these decades. They've been resisting occupation all these decades. Why would they change now, especially when Israel is increasingly isolated on the issue of occupation?
You've got a mistake. We're not isolated at all. Israel's commerce and export has tripled itself over the past 12 years. BDS started in 2005, the supposed BDS. We've tripled our commerce. We've got a 6% growth, the biggest high-tech in the world.
15
after
countries
Silicon
in the
Valley.
Security Council just passed a resolution. 14 of them voted against you, and America abstained. Not a single country voted with you. The EU, the UN, the Russians, the Chinese, the US, they all view this as an illegal occupation and illegal settlements. You are completely isolated on the issue of occupation and settlements. You know that, Naftali.
No, quite the contrary. I think we've had endless Security Council resolutions against Israel, but Israel continues to be the strongest and growing force in the Middle East. If I were the Arabs, I'd focus on finding a way to work together with Israel against Iran, Hezbollah, who seem to be taking over much of the Middle East. If the Arab countries, the Sunnite countries, don't want to be butchered by their Shiite neighbor, they ought to cooperate with us. This is a mutual interest. Okay. We need to work together against the big menace. Okay. We're not about, let me be very clear there.
Hold on.
We are not going to give up our tiny piece of land. It's not going to happen, so get on with it.
Okay, so rather than play kind of divide and rule where you turn Sunnis against Shias and vice versa, let me ask you about what Israel is doing. I had senior spokesman for Hamas, Osama Hamdan, on this show a few weeks ago, and he actually said basically his organization will be willing to live with a Palestinian state in the West Bank alongside Israel. You say a flat no to that, which means you're basically more uncompromising now, more extreme than Hamas is. The Israeli government has a more extreme position than Hamas. Wow.
Well, Hamas has proven what happens when we give even a centimeter of land to Arabs. They shoot missiles at us. We left Gaza. We handed it over to Abu Mazen.
You didn't leave Gaza.
Hamas took
Come on.
over.
You control the airspace. You control the territorial waters. You control the borders. You control the population register. Is that what you call leaving?
Absolutely not. Again, you need to do your homework. We left. The moment they started shooting rockets at us, yes, we defend ourselves.
Do you not control the airspace and territorial waters? Do you not? Is that incorrect?
The moment we left Gaza,
I'll take that as
we handed over the keys to them. We did not seek to control of anything. But make no mistake, Israel will always defend itself against terrorist neighbors. Now, it turns out that every time you give Muslim Arabs a chunk of Israel's land, they turn it into a terror base. We're not going to let that happen. Now, I served in the Israeli military as a major in a commando unit. I lost friends. There's no one wants peace more than me, but peace will be achieved by strength, not by carving out our tiny country and handing it over to our enemies.
You're not carving out your own country. You're withdrawing from occupied territories, which everyone in the world, including Israel's own Supreme Court, regards as occupied territory. That's the problem. You can't carve out stuff that's not your own.
Mahdi, I guess what you need to do is go back and change the Bible. You need to change the narrative of the Bible because it's all there. And I assume
is Israel a theocracy?
All Muslims,
is
Christians,
Israel now a theocracy?
and
Is it a
Jews.
religious state?
I assume.
Why are you quoting the Bible to me? I'm quoting the Supreme
Christians,
Court
Muslims,
of
and
your
Jews.
country. Hold on, the Supreme Court of your country.
Let me finish.
Let me just put the quote of the Supreme Court to you and then you respond.
You're finding
the Judea and Samaria areas are held by the state of Israel in belligerent occupation. That is the view of the Supreme Court of your country. Are you saying the Bible trumps your Supreme Court? Is Israel